The month of September was quite a hectic month between work trying to send me to an early grave and the hobby schedule shifting into overdrive. We had our usual climbing, sewing, and golf, and I swear I'll get a golf video up eventually, but we also did some dancing that wasn't just practicing in the studio. We'll get to that later though. With how the schedule worked out this month, I ended up climbing at more gyms than I typically go to. Normally I'm just at the Van and North Van locations, but we also got Surrey and Poco in on this rotation. This gym definitely has the biggest windows and the most amount of natural lighting, but it does have the downside of getting incredibly hot by that front window. The recording for this climb kicked in a little bit late, so we actually missed the start. I'm actually supposed to start slightly closer into the wall at the bottom section there. Right here with this hold, I actually mostly missed with my left hand, so I was really struggling to get my right hand on before I slipped off. Coming back to the Vancouver location, I had a pretty good time with this route. About halfway through, I just started feeling like I was a chandelier and just kind of kept going with it. If you're looking at this, you're probably thinking, hey, that was a dab. Don't worry, didn't actually press on it. This route at the Surrey location was pretty fun. The start was just about building body tension and trying to keep yourself in on the wall. It's a little bit difficult to tell from the video, but this top section is slightly overhung. You can see that I end up making these moves incredibly slowly up here, because every time I shifted my body weight, it felt like I was going to slide off of the hold. This pink route here was probably one of the harder routes that I ended up trying this month. The starting portion involves a lot of body tension and grabbing onto essentially upside down crimps. Now I'm noticing a little bit of a trend while I grab these big pillbox style holds. I generally tend to land on them a little short and actually have to shuffle my hands up higher after I make the initial grab. I was a little bit worried with this last move just due to where my foot was. I was a little concerned I was going to fall completely sideways if I missed the top hold. this route actually threw me for a little bit of a loop. I had tried it statically about 3 times and got pretty close, but after failing those 3 attempts, I realized that last move is probably just a dynamic move. I am glad I completed it, but I really wish I had actually made it look a little bit more smooth. My catch there on the left hand was actually very jerky. There's not too much to say about this red route. The pink route beside it actually was quite difficult. It took about 3 tries to get to the last move, and I wasn't actually able to finish it. Just gonna finish up here with a clip of a route I didn't actually finish. I was just a big fan of the start move here. Overall for the month, we tried 18 different 4 hexes, sent 16 of them, and flashed 11 of them. Now moving on to dance. This isn't something I've talked about very much because since starting this series, all I've done is train in the studio, but this month was a little different. Our studio put on a performance at a wedding show. We had about 2 hours to learn a 3-minute choreo, of which I'm only going to show certain portions of, and without the actual audio for copyright reasons. Given the amount of time we had, we did a pretty decent job of keeping in sync. In the world of sewing, I had a very productive month for learning, but a very unproductive month in terms of actually finishing my project. I ran into issue after issue, starting with not being able to get the fabric to lay straight, sewing the wrong portions together, not leaving enough seam allowance, fabric bunching up, and forgetting my original stitch plan, among many other things. I ended up doing a redesign due to the fabric that I had chosen. With the semi-transparency of the fabric, I figured that a different design was slightly more suitable. You might not be able to see it in the time-lapse, but there are portions where my face is just flat against the table while I silently contemplate my existence. There are also a few hours of missing footage from when I had to rip out a bunch of stitches and redo my work. All in all, I am excited to finish this one up, but I know I'm going to have to revisit this in 6 months and do it properly. And that's the end of the recap for the month. So get on out of here, and I'll catch you in the next one.